Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Matt Morris. I am your host. Right now, we are live on YouTube at Matt Morris TV, as well as on Rumble at Matt Morris TV. Ladies and gentlemen, today we actually have some absolutely massive news, some massive information pertaining to the ongoing situation with the Sedicious Six, is what everybody is calling them right now. The Sedicious Six. This is this collective of six different Democrat congressional representatives, 2 in the Senate and 4 in the U.S. House of Representatives, who about 4 or 5 days ago now, maybe 6, doesn't matter, actively pushed for members of the U.S. military and members in the intelligence community to undermine President Trump's executive authority, really his authority as the commander-in-chief, and to disobey orders if they thought they were unlawful. They didn't actually clarify what those unlawful orders might be. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what, it seems today has been a very eventful day insofar as this situation with the Sedicious Six goes. President Trump, it seems like he's bringing forth charges, really specifically one charge in specific, and we're going to talk about what that charge is and also what the penalties might be. I'll tell you what, late last night and all throughout this morning, this afternoon, members of the Sedicious Six, all 6 of them, I believe, actually took to Twitter, X, Instagram, mainstream media. They're doing a whole media circuit. They are panicking. All 6 of these congressional representatives, the Sedicious Six, they are panicking. They're freaking out right now because they know that they messed up big time and they are about to have to face the long arm of the law, so to speak. And so, ladies and gentlemen, first, let's talk about what President Trump is saying. Then we're going to actually listen to all of their statements, the statements from the members of the Sedicious Six. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about why this entire situation is terrible and why their defense, because they are trying to mount a defense here. We're going to talk about why this is completely bogus and ridiculous. First off, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, who are the members of the Sedicious Six? Who are we talking about exactly? We are talking about Democrat Senator Elissa Slotkin, Democrat Senator Mark Kelly. Some people thought that my head looked a little bit like Mark Kelly's head. I'm not wearing a hat today. I'm Matt without a hat. You might notice I do have a little bit of hair. Everybody, I look in the live chat, everybody is freaking out about it. I do have a little bit more than Mark Kelly at least. We have Democrat Representative Chris DeLuzio. We have Representative Maggie Goodlander. We have Representative Chrissy Houlahan. And finally, the final member of the Sedicious Six, as everybody is calling them, Democrat Representative Jason Crow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, President Trump, it seems as if he has identified, he's fixated on one charge specifically to charge these individuals with. And I want to show you what that is. Now, first off, let's talk about I think everybody knows who Glenn Beck is. Glenn Beck, the other day, yesterday afternoon, in fact, he posted this on Twitter. This is from Glenn Beck. He said, "This is the law Donald Trump is looking for. 18 USC 2387, activities affecting armed forces general. This statute makes it a federal crime to do any of the following with the intent to interfere with U.S. military operations. 1, advise, urge, or attempt to cause insubordination. Disloyalty. Mutiny. Refusal of duty. Okay, I'll stop. You get the point. Among members of the U.S. military. 2, obstruct or attempt to obstruct recruitment, enlistment, or general military operations. 3, distribute written materials advocating for any of the above." So, ladies and gentlemen of the audience here, my fellow American patriots, does it seem like, I mean, we've all seen the video. I feel I don't need to keep on playing the video. We have all seen it. We all know what they said. Everybody's been talking about this for 4 or 5 days now. Does it seem like what these members of the Sedicious Six said, what they said in this video, does it seem like it's in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2387? Yeah, I would suppose so. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not an expert in criminology. I don't know, but yeah, it sure seems so. And so I took notice to something on Truth Social earlier today, just a couple hours ago, in fact. President Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, took a screenshot of what Glenn Beck said of this entire rigmarole. President Trump took this and he posted it himself on Truth Social. And so you can bet your behind, if President Trump, if he found this, maybe Glenn Beck passed it off to him personally. I think they talked to each other probably. President Trump got a hold of this somehow. He posted it on Truth Social in front of all the millions of people that follow him. Is this maybe a situation of the term people use is called soft disclosure? It's a little bit of a, hey, look what's coming. Hey, soft disclosure. Hey, look what's coming through the pipeline now. We are kind of focusing in. We're setting our sights on you, figuratively speaking, of course. President Trump appears to suggest Senate and House Democrats, of course, violated 18 U.S.C. 2387. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going on here. Because like I said, almost all, I think all 6 of them, I think we've got footage from all 6 of them, members of the Sedicious Six, they are panicking. They are freaking out, rightfully so. They should be panicking. They should be freaking out. If I was one of these members of the Sedicious Six, I never would be, but God forbid. Yeah, I mean, I'd be losing my marbles a little bit right now because, yeah, you have overstepped the bounds. You've made a colossal, traitorous, seditious mistake. Some people are using the word insurrection. Dare I use that word? I think most people are using the word sedition right now. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start taking a look at the statements from these members of the Sedicious Six, I need to tell you something. Something we already know right now. The U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. military courts, they have their own kind of internal legal system, in the military. Both Department of Justice and the U.S. military courts, right this very moment, we know for a fact, are looking into this entire case. There is an investigation right now. They are being investigated. And I'll tell you what, I saw somebody in the live chat ask, I think it's worth mentioning, this is a key component here. What is the penalty? What is the criminal penalty? What happens if you are found guilty of violating 18 U.S.C. 2387? Well, I did some research into this. Up to 10 years in federal prison, 10 years, federal prison, up to a $250,000 fine, $250,000, or both. Could be both. Could be this, could be that, up to this, up to that, or it could be both, all of the above. All of the above. Combine it, put it together. So I'll tell you what, there was a reason why the members of the Sedicious Six are losing their mind, why they're freaking out right now. And what we're going to do is take a look at some of the statements. First off, we're going to listen to Senator Slotkin. There she is, Alyssa Slotkin in the top left. She is going to issue a statement here. We're going to see what she's got to say about all this. You know what? Hey, listen, I want to be impartial. Okay, I want to be fair. I want to be a fair guy. Maybe they've got a good defense. Maybe they've got a good justification for why they said what they said. I doubt it. But you know what? Listen. Let's see what they've got to say. Let it play.
It does imply that the president is having illegal orders, which you have not seen.
I think for us, it was just a statement widely, right? We say very quickly and to all the folks who come to us, this is the process. Go to your JAG officer, ask them for explanation, for top cover, for their view on things. We do that on a case-by-case basis, but we wanted to speak directly to the volumes of people who had come to us on this.
And really? It is very clear that no one should follow an illegal order, but it's very murky when you look at what is an illegal order. And if you go into morally, ethically, that's a pretty tough thing to look at and say, how do I navigate this?
Look, if you're going back to Nuremberg, right, that, well, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. Oh my, okay, we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
There's like, you watch, A Few Good Men. Like, we have plenty of examples since World War II in Vietnam where people were told to follow illegal orders, and they did it, and they were prosecuted for it. So the best thing for people to do is go to their JAG officer, their local law enforcement or a legal officer in their unit, and ask for some explanation, ask for help. And that's what we've been advising people to do.
To be very clear, she was just explicitly asked, so do you have any examples of illegal orders that President Trump is giving? Well, no, but we just want people to be aware of it. Go ask their superior officer. And by the way, keep in mind the Nuremberg trials where the Nazis, they tried to use this defense. Well, Hitler told me to do it. As if that is in any way whatsoever comparable or analogous to anything President Trump is doing. This woman is a master of lies. She is a speaker of lies. She is spreading propaganda. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's trying to incept this idea into the minds of young, perhaps impressionable members of the U.S. military. Keep in mind, we've got 18, 19, 20-year-old young Americans in the military right now, active duty, that are also simultaneously in key sensitive positions. And what she wants to do as a senior ranking member of the U.S. federal government, she's a sitting senator, for God's sake, she is trying to incept this idea into the mind of these young military personnel that, wow, maybe I should question everything President Trump does. Maybe I should not respect his authority as the commander-in-chief. Maybe I shouldn't do what he says. Maybe this, maybe that. This woman is disgusting that she would even bring up the freaking Nuremberg trials. I honestly, I had not played this clip before listening to it now with you folks on the live show. I am shocked that she said that. She knows what she's doing. This is insane. This is insanity. We've got another clip from her.
So let's talk right now. Do you believe President Trump has issued any illegal orders?
To my knowledge, I am not aware of things that are illegal, but certainly there are some legal gymnastics that are going on with these Caribbean strikes and everything related to Venezuela.
Oh my good God. So to my knowledge, there's nothing that is illegal that he has done, but maybe there's something going on with these Caribbean strikes where we are. So just to be clear, she has a problem with blowing up narco trafficking boats in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela as they are literally in the action of trafficking illicit, dangerous, deadly narcotics from the Venezuelan mainland up into across the Gulf of America into the United States. She has a problem with that. JD Vance chimes in. And by the way, to be clear, once again, she doesn't even know. She's just like, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't even know. And then she also, once again, I'm sorry, I can't get over this. She brings up the Nuremberg trials. Woman, you are out of your damn mind. You have a screw loose, but you know what? She doesn't. She doesn't. She's not crazy. She's not insane. She is deliberately doing this. She's not saying this stuff because she's stupid. She's not saying this stuff because she's incompetent. She's not a moron. She's evil. She's evil. And she's twisted. And she is deliberately, very tactfully, in a very premeditated way, trying to undermine the authority of the commander-in-chief of the United States military, the president of the United States. She knows exactly what she is doing. JD Vance chimes in. He says, if the president hasn't issued illegal orders, then members of Congress telling the military to defy the president is definitionally illegal. Thank you. Yeah, true. Thank you, JD Vance. I couldn't agree more, Mr. Vice President. I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right. Definitionally illegal. In fact, I think you could even go so far as to say this is seditious behavior. Yes or no in the live chat? I'm going to say yes. I also want to quickly take a look at the super chats here. This is David Hughes. He says, Matt 2028. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, David. Welcome to the show. Happy Sunday. John Mitchell says, yes, they have violated the Sedition Act. The DOJ must act. If not, the UCMJ should come into play and the military should make some arrests. Seems like that's where we're going. I showed you the President Trump post here on Truth Social. Seems like that is where we are going. And you know what? Thank God. Good. Yes. William Titan, he says, I'm totally with you, Matt. Now, devil's advocate, what they stated was in the UCMJ, but they forgot to add was a source at the beginning of the video. They're screwing with us, coming from a vet. You know what? It's in Trump's hands. Like I said, I think that what we saw today on Truth Social, this Trump post, I think this is almost a little bit of a soft disclosure. Hey, this is what's coming through the pipeline. Stand by, stay tuned. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to like and to subscribe. Welcome to the show, everybody. Now, we've got another one. This is Representative Jason Crow. Here he is down here in the bottom right. Brutal. Moments ago at CBS, Jason Crow, who demanded the troops rebel against President Trump, he gave his statement. Take a look at what he had to say.
Let's get to the content of what you had in that video you released, because there are also 15 House Republicans who are also veterans who released a video, including a retired 3-star Marine Corps General, Jack Bergman. Take a listen to this.
Uh-oh.
Troops, listen up. Any service member who refuses a lawful order is subject to court-martial for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
We study what's lawful and what's not lawful, and the Democrats' stunt insinuating that they're illegal or unconstitutional orders, it's downright dangerous.
It is corrosive.
Oh, yeah.
It is meant to weaken our country and weaken the military.
Oh, yeah.
How do you respond to these allegations from your colleagues, fellow veterans, that what you have put out there is weakening and corrosive to the military?
Well, these unfortunately are some of Trump's core supporters that are rallying behind the president, and they know better.
Why do they always sound like this? Why? It's something about being on the left. Well, President Trump is actually a fascist. Why do they always sound like that? Have you noticed? Anyway, I'm sorry.
They know exactly the difference between lawful versus unlawful. We were very clear in the video that what we're talking about is unlawful orders. You have the president's spokesperson going into a press conference this past week and saying that we called for people to disobey lawful orders. They're simply lying because the truth is unacceptable to them. It's unacceptable. We wanted to start a conversation, and we did, about the dangerous rhetoric this president is using and the threats that he's made to use our military in an unlawful way.
Specifically what?
Well, send troops into Chicago, send troops into polling stations, kill terrorists' families, arrest and execute members of Congress.
Has President Trump arrested or executed members of Congress? No. Well, actually, there has been one member of Congress that assaulted an ICE officer outside the Chicago, Illinois. No, it was the New Jersey ICE facility. She got arrested because she assaulted a federal officer. So that happened. Maybe she shouldn't have assaulted a federal. Is President Trump blowing up people's families? When did that happen? When exactly did that happen? Is he talking about blowing up narco trafficking boats while they are literally in the act of trafficking narcotics into the United States? Yeah, we're blowing those up. You're just going to have to deal with that, dude. He says President Trump has dangerous rhetoric. You want to talk about dangerous rhetoric? There is a term. It is called stochastic terrorism. Do you folks know what that is? Stochastic terrorism is when you engage in a highly inflammatory, bombastic type of rhetoric that is designed intentionally to invoke and incite violence. So, for example, let's walk through this. If you say, in theory, President Trump is a fascist Nazi and we need to stop him at all costs, whatever the cost, that falls under the purview of, it's called stochastic terrorism, because what you were angling for by saying something like that, you are trying to incite some crazy nut job to pick up a gun and do something terrible, to say, whoa, a member of Congress is telling me that President Trump is a fascist and we've got to stop him at all costs. Okay, I guess I got to take out the president. This is called stochastic terrorism, and I'll tell you what, the Democrats they have perfected it. They do it every day. They are masters of this type of rhetoric. Their entire political platform is built on this type of rhetoric. And that is what they've been doing for a decade now, ever since President Trump came down that beautiful golden escalator in June of 2015, I believe. And this is what this video was. This video is a video compilation of 6 congressional Democrats engaging in stochastic terrorism. Hey, members of the military. Hey, members of the intelligence apparatus. If you don't want to do what President Trump tells you, well, maybe you don't need to do it. If you even think that it's unlawful, then you don't need to do it. Reminder, you don't have to do it. This is stochastic terrorism, is what these people are doing. And it's funny because these Democrats, every time they point a finger at somebody else, 3 fingers are pointing back at them. They accuse Trump, they accuse us of doing exactly what they themselves do. It is called projection of the highest caliber. Now, President Trump has issued 2 also earlier today. Can I get these right here in the middle? Maybe it's better if I do this. President Trump issued 2 other statements about this entire dynamic on Truth Social earlier today, similarly. The first one on the left, he says, the traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks trying to explain that what they said was okay. It wasn't, and it never will be. It was sedition at the highest level, and sedition is a major crime, big time. There can be no other interpretation of what they said. Now, Viva Frey has just hosted me on Rumble. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. We are talking today about the Sedicious Six. If you are new to the show, welcome. Go check out Viva Frey. Make sure to follow, subscribe over there and over here. Today, we're breaking down the Sedicious Six. Everybody, shout out Rumble, shout out YouTube. President Trump then went on to say, many great legal scholars agree that the Democrat traitors that told the military to disobey my orders as president have committed a crime of very serious proportion. Absolutely. This user on Twitter, he says, Trump is making sure the public understands the severity of what the Democrats just did with that seditious video. Trump would be fully within his executive authority to arrest the Sedicious Six and anyone who else was involved. Perhaps a little bit of a soft disclosure. Once again, do you think this here? These posts we just looked at, a little bit of a soft disclosure? Yeah, I think so. And by the way, this is actually a great idea. I wasn't even thinking about this. Great idea, though, is that, it's the people involved in putting together this video compilation. Attention, U.S. military, if Trump is doing this, then, the video, they've got script writers, they've got video editors, they've got staff members, they've got producers who maybe, who knows who is above them that told all of them to say this, who gave them the script, who wrote that script, who paid for the script, who paid for the video to be produced. Videos don't just manifest themselves into reality on their own. You've got to script it. You've got to write it. You've got to edit it. Somebody's got to pay for it all. I know because I write videos all day. I do it every day. And so, yeah, you know what? We might be talking about more people being involved in this than just these 6 members of Congress. They've got an entire editorial production staff, who knows, that are also involved in this, presumably so. So President Trump is going off, and you know what, rightfully so. Now we hear from Representative Maggie Goodlander, who is also a member of the Seditious Six. Where's our woman, Maggie? Maggie Goodlander on the bottom left. What do you have to say about your conduct, Mrs. Goodlander?
What illegal orders are you urging troops to refuse, and what do you hope they take away from your message?
Alex, we love this country. We love our Constitution. It is our job as lawmakers, and especially in this moment, to be clear morally, to be clear legally. And simply and clearly stating what the law says, what the Uniform Code of Military Justice says, it's not a crime. It is not treason. It is not sedition. It is our job. And I think it's really important that we do our jobs in this moment.
So, little fun fact, background about her. She is actually married, I kid you not, to Joe Biden's national security advisor. So her roots go deep. She is a part of this anti-Trump, anti-America first, most certainly deep state. She knows exactly what she's doing. And like I said, look at her face. Like I said, all of these members of the Sedicious Six, they are panicking. Why do you think all of them came out and issued statements to the mainstream media today? They're all typing up a storm. They're typing up paragraphs all over Twitter and X and Facebook. Why do you think they're typing up these paragraphs and making the media tour here today? And really starting last night, it's because they're freaking out. They know that they effed around, and they're worried that now they're going to have to find out, and it seems like they are going to find out. Here we have a statement from Senator Klobuchar, who is not a member of the Sedicious Six, but she comes out and defends the Sedicious Six. Take a look, another Democrat senator.
I wonder, do you know what the specific illegal acts are that your Democratic colleagues were referring to there?
Well, it's very clear in this code for the military that you cannot follow unlawful orders.
Now, I have to say real quick, I'm going to pause her. Okay? This is their defense. Well, we were just telling them to not follow unlawful orders. They did not give any examples of these unlawful orders. Beyond that, they keep saying, well, it's obvious, everybody knows. Well, then why are you reminding them? If your defense is that everybody in the military already knows that they don't have to follow unlawful orders, and that's part of the process when you go through basic training, you get acquainted with all of these ideas, then why are you making videos about it? Then why, members of Congress, are you, why now? Why are you taking it upon yourselves to make the video if everybody in the military already knows, and they do? It's a little bit curious.
And, you know, that would be, I'll just use an example. Some of the judges have now found in certain cities that it is not legal to send in the National Guard. And those National Guard members have come home. Some of them are still there. But if their commander were to tell them, hey, go out on the streets and do this and that, that's not following the order that is in law. So I just use that example. I'm sure my colleagues would have others.
That's your best example. Okay, listen, Senator Klobuchar, let me ask you a question. How many times since stepping back into the White House has President Trump deployed the National Guard in defiance of a federal court standby order? How many times? I'll give you a hint. It is a circular, more like an ovular. It's an ovular number. The number is 0. President Trump has deployed the Guard when he has the legal right to do so. He doesn't have any stand-down orders or standby orders from a federal court. But then when he does, like in Portland, or for a time in Los Angeles, or in Chicago, he has not. Not one time has President Trump gone to the National Guard and said, listen, boys, listen up, boys. I know a federal judge said I can't send you in, but I'm sending you in anyway. Go on in, gentlemen. Has he done that? No. He hasn't. No, he has not. President Trump is playing by the books, playing by the rules here. He's following the law. He's taken these lower court rulings to the appellate courts, to the Ninth Circuit appellate court. Sometimes they go to the Supreme Court on top of that. Now, by the way, President Trump has over the last 7 months now, President Trump has a 99% appeal success rate in the Supreme Court. Trump is just winning appeal after appeal after appeal after appeal. But it is really telling that this is the best example Klobuchar can conjure on the spot. She has no idea what in the hell she's talking about. None of them do. None of them do. Senator Mark Kelly. He makes his appearance today on ABC, Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan. Margaret. Let's see what Senator Mark Kelly has to say. Take a look.
In terms of lawful and unlawful orders, it gets complicated for rank and file to understand. I understand, and other networks have reported, that the senior judge advocate down at Southcom raised serious doubts about the legality of the strikes on those alleged drug boats, but was contradicted by lawyers at the executive branch. Have you spoken to the Southcom commander? Are you hearing that there are unlawful orders being given?
Well, we're hearing the same thing that you are. The administration has.
So he didn't say yes. Curious. Are you hearing, Senator, that there are unlawful orders being given? Well, we're hearing the same thing, everybody. So the answer is no. Thanks.
Hasn't shared much information with us. I read the legal analysis. It was just like the briefs. They're tying themselves in knots trying to explain why what they're doing with regards to these drug boats is legal. And it's questionable at best. One of our biggest allies, the United Kingdom, recently stopped sharing intelligence with us in the Caribbean because they question whether this is legal or not. We've been asking for more briefings from the right people. We have not received them, but the information that you just shared with me is the public information. I don't have much more beyond that.
Well, and
the British, that's your retort. That's your counter argument, is that, well, maybe these strikes on the narco boats are not legal because the British have stopped sharing Caribbean intelligence with us. I'm sorry, pardon my language. Why do we give a shit what the British think is legal or illegal? I seem to remember fighting a war so that we actually didn't have to care what they think about all of this. Do you remember? Oh yeah, it was called the Revolutionary War. Yeah, that's right. No, we did. Yeah, we did do that. And so now I actually don't really care what they say about the legality of President Trump blowing up narco boats in the Caribbean. I think Trump has the right to do it. And also the absolute hubris and ego, the ego to say, well, listen, it's shoddy intelligence. You're a senator. You do not have right now in your current position, you do not have all of the intelligence, all the information that President Trump and the Department of War do have. This idea that they're just dropping bombs on random boats floating in the Caribbean is just absolutely baloney. You know, I'm not a military man. This is what I would assume as a civilian. This is my assumption. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if I'm wrong. I would assume that President Trump and the Department of War, the U.S. military, they are able to track everything going on from the shipping container that the narcotic, precursor chemicals come out of. They load them up onto and they're using satellite imagery, shipping container to the transport truck, to the drug manufacturing facility in Venezuela, to the transport truck, to the dockyard, to the boat, into the ocean, who's on the boat, who's in the facility, how many people, what are the people's names, who's involved, how many people are involved, exactly what time of day, when did the boat leave the dock, all of this. That's my assumption, is that the Trump administration, the military, the Department of War, they have the information for all of this. They are tracking methodically the entire process, every point for point, step of the way. And so for a senator who's not involved in that process at all to say, well, the information is shoddy. Well, listen, dum-dum. Hey, listen, silly Billy. You don't have the information. How can you say the information is shoddy? Dum-dum. If you don't have the information, you know who does have the information? The president. You know who does? The Secretary of War, the Department of War. You know who does? The U.S. military. That's who has the information. Your ass is in the Senate right now. Sorry, I'm getting heated today. I got to cool down. I'm sorry. This has got me riled up. It's got me riled up. Now, I think you guys are going to like this one here. This is Democrat Representative Chrissy Houlahan, who was a member of the Sedicious Six. She issued a statement here earlier today that you are going to love. Listen to this.
It's mind-blowing what's coming from the leadership of both the House and the Senate. The other thing that's damning is the silence of my colleagues in not condemning this violence. People were up in arms, understandably and appropriately, about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but it has been crickets here in Congress from my colleagues about this.
Have any of those colleagues reached out to you privately to express support?
Not one. Not one.
So first off, just completely repulsive and disgusting. The pushback that she is now receiving, she just compared herself to Charlie Kirk. She says, I'm just like Charlie Kirk. Nobody is sticking up for me. Everybody was mourning the loss of Charlie Kirk. It's so sad. But now I'm under pressure because I'm a member of the Sedicious Six. And this is the really sweet part. She said nobody in her own party has stuck up for her. Did you catch that? She said nobody in the Democrat Party and the Democrat establishment has come even privately and said, hey, listen, Chrissy, this is messed up. I got your back. Hey, Representative Houlahan, I got your back. Nobody has supported her. You want to know why? It's because even the Democrats know. Everybody knows. This is not like some hyper-partisan left-right issue. All the Republicans know this is sedition. These individuals overstepped the bounds. We all know what they did, and now I think it's time for them to find out criminally, legally. Trump is bringing charges. Seems to be the case. Not even members of the Democrat establishment, not even her fellow Democrat representatives are sending her sending a text message saying, hey, listen, I got your back. Man, Trump is such a dickhead. Nobody is. And you know what? Good. This behavior, it deserves to be pushed out and ostracized. All 6 of these individuals should resign in disgrace. If the Democrat Party was still a serious party, if they were a legitimate serious party, they would have some standards, and they would have these people resign in disgrace for what they said. But they're not, so they won't. I mean, they just elected Jay Jones. You all remember the Virginia State Attorney General who won that election. Democrats turned out in droves to vote for this guy who was making death threats against children, against conservative children. This is not a serious party. These are not serious people. These are not people that have any ounce of self-respect or respect for this country, period. Nothing. All that can be done is this party, this ideology must be crushed. It is a battle of good versus evil. It must be figuratively crushed at the ballot box. Now, we hear from former Director of National Intelligence, Richard Grenell. I want to play this. He gives his sort of professional opinion on this entire dynamic. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We're going to go through super chats here at the end of the show. Everybody, thank you for tuning in today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new on YouTube and on Rumble. Let's see what former DNI Grenell has to say.
Rick, I want to get your take about what has taken place since you were DNI. You're the former DNI. Also, you are presidential envoy for special missions of the United Nations.
Yeah.
This last 10 years and this investigation ongoing on whether or not it is a conspiracy, beginning with Russia collusion, where one political campaign, Hillary Clinton, came up with a lie about her political enemy, and it goes viral across the world, to the Hunter Biden laptop, to impeachments, and then 90-plus indictments against President Trump, the Mar-a-Lago raid. What do you want to say about what we have just experienced for 10 years of attacks against this president?
That was a great little recap there. Man, put it into perspective, folks. We have had 10 years of lie, not just like accidental, oopsie, I lied. No, like deliberately manufactured hoaxes meant to subvert the will of the American people and the process, the democratic process that we have in this country where people vote for who they want to represent them. Not accidental, oopsie daisy lie. No, deliberate, manufactured hoaxes to subvert and undermine this republic.
Well, it's clear to me that the bureaucracy led by the Democrats and the press are going to attack President Trump every time he tries to reform Washington. They don't want to reform. They like the system the way it is. And so when you look at the very beginning, when President Trump arrived in 2017, really beginning in 2016 with the election, the intelligence community and others had so many bad apples that they went after President Trump and created the Russian collusion hoax and all of these other things. This video that these Democrat elected officials are doing now is a call to arms to try to get the last remaining few people within the intelligence community, within the bureaucracy, to stand up and fight. I think it is an outrageous video. We should call it out constantly. What they're trying to do is mount an insurrection from within. And President Trump is right to be extremely angry. And I hope that John Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard understand that they've got to dig deep now to figure out how do we stop any of these leaks that are clearly going to be coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about, maybe it's a buzzword, maybe people say this phrase too much, deep state. If you want to talk about the deep state, this is exactly the type of stuff that we're talking about. And very curiously, the Democrats, these congressional Democrats at least, they know that they can call them up like attack dogs. They say, hey, listen, it's like they're literally, I mean, well, literally and figuratively, they're blowing a dog whistle. Dog whistle, hey, agents of the deep state, come here. It's go time. It is time to undermine President Trump. Let's go. Deep state, come on, activate. It's time to undermine the president. Now, I want to show you something here. So not only is President Trump looking at, very clearly, he posted this himself on Truth Social earlier today, 18 USC 2387, okay, which has a 10-year maximum federal prison sentence as well as a $250,000 fine. I think that's really what we're talking about right now. President Trump, this is a little bit of a meme I'm going to show you next. Trump earlier today posted this on his Truth Social page. You could tell Trump is riled up. This is his account. He posted, "None shall escape his justice." And it is him as like a Warhammer 40K style God Emperor sitting on a golden throne with what appears to be Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, and Adam Shifty Schiff kneeling at his feet. None shall escape his justice. Yeah, God Emperor Trump is what this looks like. By the way, Warhammer 40K, very cool. So Trump has been, for the last couple days, he's been dropping post after post after post after post. This is a little bit of a joke, but no, like very serious posts. Like these, like, listen, you are traitors. You have committed sedition. We're bringing forth criminal charges. So we heard yesterday, the big news yesterday was now we know for a fact the DOJ and the military courts both are looking into this. There's an ongoing investigation into this, into all 6 of these people. And so, folks, at this point, here's what I want to do. I want to actually pull up some super chats. I want to take a look at some super chats here. I want to see real quick what you folks have to say. I'm going to pull this up. Got a little bit of a cough. I apologize. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. Listen, I know I say this. I don't want to sound hyperbolic. I really do believe the fate of the republic is at stake here. Trump has got to drain the swamp, for lack of a better phrase. He has got to start holding these people accountable. We need to see arrests. We need to see accountability for this type of behavior. The reason why they behave this way, the reason why the deep state, the far left, the Democrats, these seditious members of Congress, the reason why they behave this way is because they think they're going to get away with it. They have become so accustomed, so used, so comfortable, acting with complete and total impunity. They can say and do whatever they want. There's no recompense ever. Listen, they need to have a little date with reality. They need to go on a date with reality. And as they say, reality, she can be a cruel mistress, as they say. So listen, Trump, set up a date. Trump, you can be the matchmaker here, okay? Set a date up for these members of Congress. Hey, listen, reality, a match made in heaven. That's what I want to see. Okay, so I need to, man, there's a lot of super chats. I need to get on top of this. I'm going to take a look at Rumble first. I'm going to pull them up so you folks can actually see these here. Soaring Sparrow says, my oldest son is in the army and I'm livid that these a-holes are willing to get him killed for their agenda. It's not even that he would do it, but someone else in the ranks. Yeah, if someone else in the ranks does it and it causes a catastrophe, then potentially other people that are not even implicated get involved and they're harmed and they're put in harm's way at a minimum. You're right, and it's terrible and it's wrong and needs to be punished. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're totally right. Totally on point. I hadn't even mentioned that yet, but you're right. MD Turner, he says, accountability, not revenge or retribution. It is accountability, period. And that is all we're asking for. We're not asking for retribution. We're not asking for vengeance. Okay? We want justice. We want justice. Lady Columbia is wearing a Phrygian cap. Okay? What does that mean? Justice. This country is built on equal justice under the law. And it's about time we saw some of that because there's been a lot of unequal justice under the law. This is Karen Cat Mom. Karen says, hello from San Diego. Thanks, Matt. I like your take on the news. I appreciate your podcast. Karen Cat Mom. Hey, thank you. Can I tell you something funny? I don't want to make anyone blush here, but before I went live with my show, about 90 minutes ago, I was in the bathroom and I was deciding, am I going to wear a hat today? Should I not wear my hat today? I said, I'm not going to wear my hat today. It's going to be crazy. My wife, she was standing next to me. She said, "Oh, you're trying to put on a show for all the MAGA moms." My wife, I said, "Sweetie, come on. I'm not." She said, "Oh, you're trying to look good for the MAGA moms in the audience." I said, okay, sweetheart, simmer down. Thank you, Karen Cat Mom. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm married. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have another one here from Wounds R Us. It says, Christy Houlahan is Jake Sullivan's wife. No further you're right. This is Joe Biden's former national security advisor. You're right. I blanked on his name. Jake Sullivan. That's what it is. Joe Biden's national security advisor. Small world. It's a small town, a small world, huh? What are the odds of that? And she's the one acting like this? That's a little bit weird, don't you think? National security advisor Joe Biden. That is a little bit weird. Hey, thank you everybody over on Rumble. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, you know what? Oh no, there we go. Okay, I was having some difficulties on YouTube, but I think we're back. We're good. Oh, good Lord. Where do I even begin with you guys? I think I got a couple of these. Yeah, right here. David Hughes says, this is a dog whistle to the generals. I think everybody, all up and down the chain of command, all of them. I think so. And they know, these congressional Democrats, they know, the seditious six, they know all it takes is one person in a key position to hear their message and do something terrible. They know. This is their entire MO. The Democrats, they have decided that if they can't retain control of the country, and they can't, we all voted unanimously to kick their ass out of the levers of power in this country in 2024. House, Senate, White House, we kicked them out. We said enough is enough. They said, well, okay, listen, if we can't retain control of the country, then we're just going to burn the country down. Pretty much, we're just going to sow domestic chaos. That's what we're going to do now. And that is, guess what? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And we need accountability. We need justice. Thank you very much. Polite Rude Guy says, I agree with President Trump. Bring law and order back. And that is what we need. Thank you. Sino says, action, let's freaking go. Action and justice and accountability. Polite Rude Guy again, he says, Trump 2028. We are not a lame duck. Donald J. Trump loves us. Trump 2028. You know, I think it's probably not going to happen. There is a very weird, obscure way that I guess technically he could become president again, but I think it's not going to happen. I think if I was at a betting table right now, I'd probably put money on J.D. Vance. Wouldn't you think? There's a gun to your head. You got to put money down. Who's it going to be? I would bet money on Vance right now. Thank you, Polite Rude Guy. Thank you very much. Alan Mandel says, first-time viewer, the beneficiary would be a foreign government. Which government are they working for? Mentioning Intelcom shows PSYOP. That's another component. Who knows? Yeah, I think these people, I think all of their cell phone records, email records, got to subpoena all this information. Yeah, it would make sense. Maybe these seditious six, they're trying to subvert the chain of command. They're trying to get in between the U.S. military and the commander-in-chief. Maybe they have been trading emails with, an official in the CCP or Russia or who knows? Who the hell knows? Or Madagascar. Maybe they've been colluding with Zimbabwe. I don't know. Subpoena the emails. That's a great point. Who have they been talking to? Great point. Thank you. Subversion is the only way the Democrats can try to gain power. It is sick to witness lies and gaslighting and manipulation and subversion. I mean, for a long time, finally, I think America's kind of kicked off the shackles. We've snapped out of the illusion. For a long time, the Democrats, they were able to successfully say, if you don't vote Democrat, you're a racist. If you don't vote Democrat, you're a Nazi, you're a this, you're a fascist, you're a bigot, you're a transphobe, you're a homophobe. And enough people, all of us we're like, listen, can you just shut the hell up? Fine. There was a breaking point. I think for a lot of people, it was COVID. It was 2021 for a lot of people, the way the 2020 election. I think a lot of people were like red-pilled, so to speak. Enough people said, listen, shut the hell up. You're trying to gaslight me and say that because I don't support you that I'm a bad person. Shut the hell up. Thank you very much. We have broken beyond we have broken through the firmament, I guess is maybe the funniest way to put that. Martin D. Turner, he says, note, Matt, ScrewTube will not let me post. Arrest them. Well, hey, you know what? I'll say it. They should be arrested. They should be arrested right now. And then we find out what happened afterwards. Subpoena, get warrants, all of it. Thank you. Concrete Lizard, he says, Democrats are broken trying to find money any way they can. As we now know, the federal government was effectively their slush fund for a very long time. You know, I'm thinking maybe I should become a little bit more of a professional broadcaster. Do you guys think so? Maybe I should pull up some type of super chat alert system. I can pull them up on the screen. I'm sitting here like squinting my eyes, reading through this spreadsheet. Yeah, there's the super chat. Maybe I should try to increase the production quality of the show a little bit. Don't you think? I feel like we're successful enough. We've got enough people tuning in. Maybe I should go ahead and do that. Maybe I should kind of kick up the production quality a little bit. I could probably put something together. Darth Metal Eddie says, check their campaign donos for cartel links. I agree. All of it. I agree. Money going in, money going out. Where's it coming from? Diana says they addressed the CIA and the military and more, the entire intelligence apparatus. It was the military and the CIA, but beyond also the entire intelligence community. So this might include the FBI. It might include the NSA. And God knows what else we have. I don't even know. I don't know how many three-letter agencies. I don't think anybody knows how many three-letter agencies we have, frankly. But no, it was a pretty sweeping statement they made, but you're right. And it's terrible. It's terrible. Thank you very much. Polite Rude Guy, you're going crazy today. He says, if they get charged, we can win more GOP seats. You know, that's not even what it's about. That's not even the point. They did something terrible. They did something seditious. Hold them accountable. It's not even about congressional seats, but you are right. But you are technically right. But you are right. But you know, it's not even what it's about. Listen, these congressional Democrats, senators and House reps, they are doing everything they can to get in between the U.S. military, the intelligence apparatus, and the commander-in-chief, the guy who's supposed to be calling the shots, President Trump. They're trying to drive a wedge between that relationship. They're trying to make the military and the intelligence apparatus second guess the president's leadership. And more so, they're doing it at a time when, listen, folks, we got troops in the field. We've got 50,000 U.S. military personnel in the Middle East right now. We've got a 200-soldier peacekeeping force, an intelligence force right outside Gaza. We've got an entire carrier group floating off the coast of Venezuela. We've got an entire amphibious ready group and 5,000 U.S. Marines floating off the coast of Venezuela. We've got National Guardsmen deployed here and there across the country, or standing on standby, ready to be deployed. Things are tense, to say the least. And so these congressional Democrats, in spite of all of this that's going on, they said, now's a good time to do this. Yeah, now's a good time to do this. Man, get out of town. They know exactly what they are doing, right? It's not an accident. They know exactly what they're doing. Thank you, Polite Rude Guy. Thank you very much. Massive super chat from Andrew Fay. Thank you, Andrew Fay. Thank you. Massive one. 99. He says, these members of Congress sitting in their air-conditioned offices, drawing six-figure salaries and lifetime pensions are actively recruiting active duty troops, reservists, and veterans to fight their political battles for their own ambitions. They love the cartel money. We had House Representative Tim Burchett, who came out the other day, and also there's another House Rep, Luna, she's a Latina woman, Republican, forget her name. Anyway, they said something very curious. They said that there are actually members in the Senate, as well as the House, that are both Republican and Democrat, mind you. They are doing everything they can to, Anna Paula Luna, thank you. They're doing, various members in the House and Senate, Republican and Democrat alike, they are doing everything they can to keep the war in Ukraine ongoing because they've got financial ties, they've got financial incentives to do so. And I saw that, I was like, whoa, this is massive news. Nobody's talking about this. What? That's a pretty big claim. That's a pretty big statement that we've got Republican and Democrat members in the House, Republican and Democrat senators that are actively every single day trying to undermine war in Ukraine peace effort, trying to keep the war going because they're making money off the profiteering off the war. I said, man, that is a big story, and I haven't seen anybody really talking about that. But so this is tangential to what you said, Andrew. If that's going on in Ukraine, Is it going on with cartels and drug smuggling into the U.S.? Everything going on in Latin America? Oh yeah, I'm sure. Is it conceivable that we've got elected representatives in this country that are making money off of the narco trafficking operations? Wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised. The corruption runs very deep. Listen, the deep state, it is one deep swamp. The swamp is deep. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Great super chat. Thank you. This is from Mitmunt. He says, this is Benedict Arnold level stuff. It is treason. It is sedition. I'm with you. I'm with you. It is a big problem. And I'll tell you what, listen, I'm gonna put a little pressure on President Trump right now. Trump, listen, it's great. You're posting this on Truth Social. You're talking about this. You're typing up posts on the internet. Listen, we need action. We need to see action. We need to see accountability. It is not enough to just make posts on the internet. We need people to be detained, arrested, interrogated. We need subpoenas going out. We need people to sit in prison. Okay? This level of seditious behavior going on, you are not going to take down the deep state or these seditious congressional Democrats by typing on the internet. Okay? You have to take real world action. You got to stop it in the real, not the cyber world, but in the real world. These people got to be arrested. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. Wow, what a great audience today, everybody. Thank you very much. I think I have gotten everything. Arlo, one final big super chat here on YouTube. He says, listen to Mike Benn's 3-hour podcast about USAID. You're always on top of the corruption. I'll look into it. I haven't seen that, but maybe I'll pull that up later and check that out in my free time. Thank you very much. I always appreciate a good recommendation. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a wrap for the show. Tomorrow is Monday. You guys know, I don't know if you've noticed, Saturday, Sunday, it's always kind of slow news, not a lot going on. Boom, Monday, it's like they open up the floodgates. It's like 3 days of news has kind of been held back. You wake up Monday morning, and every Monday morning, it's like, whoa, there was a lot to talk about. So you know what? Fingers crossed, knock on wood, say a little prayer, I don't know, whatever you want to do, but as it relates to this entire situation, Sedicious Six, I'm hoping for some good news tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, okay? Monday is always a big news day, so fingers crossed. I want to say, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Shout out Rumble, YouTube, drop a follow, subscribe, like, do it all. Thank you, everybody, very much. Sincerely, we do have. I don't want to brag. I don't mean to be braggadocious. You want to be humble, but this is the #1 community in the world. So, and it's not even close, and that's because of you guys, not even because of me. So I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, very much. We'll be back tomorrow, full steam ahead. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great night. Have a great morning. And I'll see you folks, I don't know, tomorrow afternoon. And until then, everybody, thank you. Stay safe. God bless. And I'll